Okay, we're here at the MGF London, and I'm here with Sergio, who's going to tell us a little bit about his VR game, Dreadhalls. So, you're out now on Gear VR. Tell us a little bit about the game as it currently stands.
So the game is a horror VR game, and when you play, you are trapped into a dungeon, into a sprawling labyrinth, and you have to find your exit, you have to escape. And the good thing about VR is that it makes you feel as if you are really there. It completely surrounds you. It is a 360 environment, so you can turn around, you can play, move in any direction, and you get lost. Even if you are in the real world, you get lost in this dungeon, in just horrific place.
So you're using the Gear VR platform at the moment, and that affords the game certain elements, but you're also planning on bringing the game to Oculus soon. Can you tell us about the transition between Gear VR and Oculus and what that means for the game?
The game actually started as an Oculus project for PC, and it only released first on Gear VR because Gear VR itself released first, and it made sense. I wanted to be there, I wanted to be on launch date, I wanted to get some feedback from users, and now that I have that, and now that the game is already available on Gear VR, I'm working on the PC version, on the PC port, and I'm going to incorporate all the feedback into a new version that is going to release on both PC and Gear VR.
And then after you've done Oculus, there's obviously Vive, HTC Vive, and then further down the line, presumably PlayStation VR, and you're planning that as well?
I plan to be in as many platforms as I can, and there is of course terms, license and all of the business details, but if I can be there, why not? I mean, VR is a small market right now, so it makes sense to be in as many platforms as you can as a developer.
I mean, VR feels very much like a frontier at the moment. What's it like as a developer, kind of pushing the boundaries and working in this new space that, I mean, VR's been around for years, but it's only now coming into the public consciousness and the mainstream. What's it like working in the area?
It's very exciting. You are always doing something new, something that no one has ever done before. So one of the things I always say that this was the first horror dungeon game in VR because there wasn't anyone when I started. It was the first one, and as a developer, making these things is really exciting. It's why you are a developer. It's why you want to work with this technology and be there doing things that people appreciate and people like and excites people, because when everyone that tries VR for the first time, they go, wow, this is amazing. And that's a feeling that as a developer I love to see to generate on people.
How are you working to solve some of the fundamental issues with VR? I know people experience things like nausea, and because you were kind of lost up in the moment, kind of that movement whilst you're kind of moving in the 3D space, in the virtual space, and you're maybe not moving, you're sitting down, or you are moving, like with the demo that I'm sure Dory's going to cut to, with me kind of bumping into tables and things. There's obviously technical limitations and hurdles to overcome to kind of create a VR experience that not only entertains but satisfies and hopefully doesn't make people sick.
So a big part of this is the technology, and we now have the technology and the mobile phones that can provide a smooth experience of 60 frames per second and very low latency, and that helps a lot in not getting sick, because one of the problems we had in the past is latency, and if you tried a VR headset of the 90s and got you sick, that was why. The latency was too high. And now we have new technology that can solve that problem, but of course there is a design problem at the core. So if you are moving in a game and you are static in VR in real life, then there's also always going to be a discrepancy. So there is a trade-off there, and there is always going to be that trade-off. If you want to have movement and explore a virtual world, then it's going to be not as comfortable. But I think there is at a point where most people can tolerate it and can enjoy the experience. That's what the right point is.
Okay, so VR is happening. It's happening this year, and you're one of the developers at the forefront of the movement. What do you kind of see happening with the VR space in the months ahead? Because it's a critical time. If it's going to succeed, if it's going to catch on, these kind of early projects like we've seen today, they really need to shine. How do you kind of see the next year or two pan out?
I think during this year we are going to see a early adopter market, and maybe geared towards gamers, and that's going to be become more popular as times goes by. It's going to be a bit slower than we expected, but I think mobile VR is going to be very critical in this, because mobile VR is going to be the affordable option, and I believe that most people are going to try their first VR experience in a mobile headset. So yeah, I think this is going to become very popular, and there are also some other options like Google Cardboard that are very affordable and that people can use for video and things like tourism, not only games. I think this is going to be a year where more people try VR, but it's not going to be the mainstream yet.
Okay, so from a personal perspective, you've got this game coming out, you're bringing it to new platforms, but looking further than that, are you going to stay in VR, or is this an experiment and then you want to move to kind of, say, more traditional games development? But are you looking to kind of stay and exist within the VR sphere moving forward, or is this just an experiment?
Well, it started as an experiment because I'm a traditional games developer, but it's working. So as long as I can keep working on this and I can get, I can work on VR and get paid for that, then it makes sense. As a developer, as a small developer, VR is a very healthy environment because you get lots of visibility, and the main enemy of an independent developer is obscurity. So being in a market where I can get that visibility and I can get side people and do things that I like, that's great. So if I can work on VR in the future, I will.
Okay, well, good luck with the rest of your launches, whatever platforms you end up on, and we hope to hear from you soon.